Hello, everyone, and welcome for our lesson for today. And today we're starting one of my most important lessons for English, which is parts of speech. Now, to understand what is the parts of speech, so the parts of speech are the categories that show the function of the words. So we can say that the parts of speech is telling us what the words are doing in the sentence exactly, or what does each word function in the sentence. Now, we have 8 main parts of speech. The first one is the nouns. Now, the nouns, it simply names a person, a place, thing, or an idea. Now, we have different examples for this one. Now, the first example, the teacher is writing on the board. Now, if we can see the first example, we have 3 nouns. The first one is teacher, and the second one is board. So we have here a noun that's naming a person and another one that's naming a thing or an object. Now, moving to the other examples, I live in a big city, so this one here is referring to a place. Now, if we move to the second part of speech that we're having, which is the pronoun, so the pronoun simply, it replaces a noun to avoid the repetition of the same noun more than one time in a sentence. So that's the main function for the pronoun, which is replacing a noun. Now, let's go through the examples that we're having here. The first one, it says, she is my best friend. Now, if we look at the sentence, so we have the pronoun she, that's one example for a pronoun, and my is another example for a pronoun. Now, she here belongs to the personal pronoun and it's used as a subject referring to a female person. Now, if we move to the other examples that we're having here, so the other one, they are playing football. Now, here we have a plural pronoun referring to a group of people that's playing football. Now, it looks delicious. It refers to an item. He went to the store, so it refers to a person, a male person that's going to the store. Moving to the third part of speech, which is the verb. Now, a verb here, it shows an action that's taking place or a state of being. If we're referring to a verb that's referring to an action, so if we look at the first example, the children run in the park. If we look at the first example, the verb is, yes, it's run. Now, run here, it refers to an action that's taking place. So that's what he mean by an action verb. The second example, we ate dinner at 7. So here again we're having an action verb. Another example, she is very kind. Now the verb is, it doesn't refer to an action. It refers to a state of being. What kind of person she is. And the last one, they were tired after the trip. So they were tired. So it refers here to the condition of those people that were tired after the trip. The fourth type of speech that we're having here is the adjectives. Now, the adjectives, it describes or modify a noun or a pronoun. So, in other words, it's describing either a noun or a pronoun. Like the examples that we're having, the tall man. So here, the word tall is describing or modifying the word man, which is referring to a person. She wore a red dress. Now, the word red, which is an exact adjective that never be used as any other thing other than an adjective, which is a red dress. So here it's describing the color of the dress. Another thing, this is a beautiful painting. Now here he's describing the painting of being beautiful. He is a smart student, so the adjective is smart. Yes. So smart here is modifying or describing student. So that's how an adjective describe or modifies a noun or a pronoun. Moving to number 5, which is the adverb. Now, the adverb, on the other hand, it describes a verb, so it describes how the verb took place, or it modifies or describes an adjective or even another adverb. So let's see the examples. She runs quickly every morning. Now, if we look at the adverb that we're having here, which is quickly, yes, it describes how she was running every morning. The movie was very interesting. So the word very here, it's modifying or describing how the movie was, which is interesting. He spoke silently to his friend, so the word silently modifies or describes how he was speaking to his friend. Moving to number 6, which is the prepositions. And the prepositions, it simply shows the relationship between a noun and other words in a sentence. So it refers to the relationship between the noun or a pronoun in a sentence and other words in a sentence. So it's a kind of a linking word to the noun or a pronoun in a sentence and other words in the sentence. So let's go through the examples. The cat is under the table. So here the word under is more related to the table. Yes. So here it links between the cat or the place of the cat and where the cat is. The second example, the book is on the desk. Again, he's referring to the place of the book, which is on the desk. So here, on is the preposition, desk is the object of the preposition. She sat beside her mother. Beside is the preposition, mother is the object of the preposition. Now, we can see that it's linking a noun or a pronoun to other words in the sentence. She arrived at noon. It refers to a preposition of time. Number 7, which is the conjunction. And a conjunction simply, it's a linking words. So it's used to link words, phrases, or even clauses. I like tea and coffee. So it links the two words tea and coffee. She is tired, but she will finish her work. So we can see that it links both closes. She is tired. That's one. Close. And the other one, she will finish her work. That's the second one. So the conjunction but here it linked three or two clauses together. I stayed home because it was raining. Again, it's linking two clauses together, which is the conjunction because. Now, keep in mind that you're having three type of conjunction. The first one, it's coordinating. The second is the correlative, and the third is the subordinating conjunctions. Now, the last thing that we're having for our lesson today, it's the interjection. And the interjection, it's used to express a sudden emotion or feeling. So it doesn't have any grammatical function in the sentence. So we don't use the interjection to refer to a singular subject or even a singular verb. So it doesn't have to agree with the verb or even doesn't have to agree with a pronoun. So it's used as its own to express an emotion or feeling. Now, going through the examples, wow, that was amazing. Now, the word wow here, that's the interjection. And if you can see that it's followed by, yes, it's followed by an exclamation mark. So if you can notice that if it's used only to express the feeling of the speaker. The second example, oh, I forgot my keys. So here it refers to a sudden action that happened. The next example, oops, I spilled the milk. Again, that's a sudden action that happened. So it's expressing the feeling of the speaker towards the action that's taking place. Now let's review the 8 parts of speech quickly. Now, the first thing that we're having is the noun, and the example that we refer to here, the teacher is writing on the board. So the word teacher and the word board are used as nouns. Now, for the pronouns, it's used to replace a noun. She is my best friend. She is a type of pronouns. Verb, the children run in the park, that's an action verb, the word run. Adjective, she wore a red dress. Now, the word red expressing or describing how the dress was. So it's modifying or describing a noun. The adverb, it describes how the verb took place. So the word quickly here, we can see that it's used to express how she was running. The preposition is used to link a noun or pronoun to other words in the sentence, like under the table. That's a prepositional phrase, and the preposition here is under. Now, last but not least, the conjunction, and it's used to link words, phrases, or even clauses. Now, the word and is a conjunction linking the two words tea and coffee, like the example that we can see right now. And the last thing, that's the interjection, which is used to express a sudden emotion. And the example that we're having, wow, that's amazing. Now here is used to express the how he likes that thing. Thank you everyone for listening. Hope it's being helpful for you, and see you next time.